things you want changed, probably. It should be what it was. Yeah, but I mean, what's your ranked stat? It should be, I guess, time. Yeah, that's why time's going to show up there. But you haven't put a... It doesn't look like things are all showing up there for some of it. Right. Right. Yes, that's your current. So yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying is the, I don't know, it doesn't really read very well right now, I think, that you actually won. Gold is rank 3. Yeah, that'll do. Well, I think people kind of understand it pretty quickly. because you see like a whole bunch of blue ones or whatever. You're gonna be like, yeah. And especially, yeah, I would definitely imagine that we'll have multiple categories such as scoring goals 1 and scoring goals 2, and everything in scoring goals 2 is difficulty 2, stuff like that. So it'll be real clear that, oh, this is a little bit more challenging. That's correct. I do not want to hear that. But are you done with? Yeah, so start writing down some basic feedback. Of course, keep in mind that what we want to do for this update is get some basic mission stuff out the door, and that we should just get to a first pass on kind of all this stuff. So, all right, I'll get back to other things later. All right, back to not paying attention to that, man. What is net mode? Net mode is like a string of like 16 or something. GPU brand. Yeah, I think the big thing that's going to happen with a lot of the mission stuff there is, like, we'll see. I think Adam's getting way too caught up in the the rankings. You're like, nah, if you don't get diamond tier, you don't get any positive feedback. And then, the only way to get diamond tier is to have some fucking lucky ass shot. It's like, god damn it. All right, back to this. Basically, what I'm doing right now is I'm building a telemetry database row for all this stuff, and I have to go through and get the lengths of all the strings right because rows can only be a certain size in a database. Otherwise, they explode into a horrible mess. Team ID is an integer. Alright, this is a boolean. Let's see, health is a number. Ship kills is an integer. Ship deaths, integer. Boarding action, damage. Alright, see, this is arm damage dealt, so it's armor damage, which is a float. Crew damage dealt, sail, hull, crew, sail rep. Alright, this is repair. That is, all these repairs are floats. Friendly fire is a number. Gold earned is an integer. I guess the kill X, Y, and Z, I believe are all floats. Placement. That is an integer. Booty is an integer, same with bounty. And DX is, oh, that should be these guys. Okay. Yeah, so I don't think the database is going to be super happy about this, but I don't really care. I'm going to shove all this data in the database whether or not that database likes it. So this is actually going to be a all session events table, and we should make another one which is called game session event. Alright, so 14, 15, 17, 19, 20, 21, 22. What we did at Amazon is they didn't have any sort of decent telemetry system. So every single telemetry event for the entire game got shoved into a like 240 column wide database row in Redshift. Thing performed like a pile of trash on fire. It was just really also really frustrating because we told these guys over and over again that this wasn't going to work and this system was garbage, and that even if they had this, because they're like, oh, we just want everything in, just put all the data in this row like this. And we're like, it won't work. It's going to be too slow. Nothing will work. And they're like, we don't care. Just go do the thing. And it's like, well, all right, but careful what you wish for, buddy. Alright, so this will create a game session event. We have our user sessions, our game sessions, and our all session events. So this will allow us to do all that sort of stuff. This will allow us to do the rest. Let's generate. Alright, so unterminated array at line 24. Yeah, I'm missing a comma. Line 66. I don't see it. Ah, I see. Let's see. Need space between number and identifier. Expected field name. Failed to generate protofile. What? $8.26. Okay, so we can't have something that starts with a number? Well then, I will change that then. So let's see if we can create these tables. So it looks like our tables did get created. And yeah, excellent. So we got all this information here. User session, blah blah blah, all session events. Alright, so I'm going to hold off on actually making that in the other database until I've actually got stuff sorted for it. Let me see. Did I edit? Oh, we're doing our build right now. Alright, so basically what I have to do is I'm going to grab all these pieces of telemetry data and I need to shove them into the database, which shouldn't be too crazy. Because I can pretty much just copy paste this from our previous tools and just bring it over, and that should be fine. Database, blah, 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 blah. Alright, so we load all the events, and then we do create session report. Alright, so the only difference here really is okay, so I need to divide these guys into their various types. What the fuck? The integer has a length? Because the way all this telemetry is divided into things that are numbers, ints, and the rest. Numbers, ints, and strings. So anything with a decimal point is a number. Anything that's an integer is, well, an integer. And everything else that doesn't really fit is a float. I mean, a string. So the question here is going to be, what is our 64-bit is a string. Editor is a string as well. Spawn and name are both actually integers. And is alive, I believe, is also an integer. Yeah. And it probably would be a better idea to actually go through and make these kind of data-driven tables and stuff like that. So pull everything out. And I could probably be doing a better job with making a more generic system that's going to deal with this stuff, but it really doesn't matter at some point. So because sometimes it's better to have some of these things split out, especially with telemetry systems, because sometimes you can have just real special cases where stuff gets screwed up for one event or something else, and sometimes big complicated generic systems that do everything are very good at doing the same thing over and over again. But if you need to start special casing stuff and having your ETL systems clean up information as they go along, it can be a real pain in the ass if you have a generic system to actually implement that. So sometimes working with rocks and sticks actually leads to a more stable and usable system than being smart about it. Right now I'm just more upset that Eclipse is performing like a pile of trash with its build time or something. As I work, it's trying to auto build and doing that, so events right there, guys. That's definitely a property that exists. Oh, fucking proto buff changed the damn names of these things. It took out the fucking underscore. You know, I hate it when shit like that happens. It's gonna be every single one of these, isn't it? Yeah, everything that has an underscore. That is so dumb. That is really stupid. It's like I'm helping. I'm changing your names from X underscore position to X position. That's standard. That's what you wanted, right? Like, no, I didn't. If I did, I would have done that. But no, you have to try to be smart on me, don't you? Other people, am I right? It's always that sort of crap. Everybody's like, "Oh, well, we're just gonna fix your casing." It's like, no, you're not gonna fix my casing. It's already the way it's supposed to be. Don't touch it. No wonder this thing's all angry at me. Alright, so we should be able to set up all these things. We don't have an external ID, so. Alright. Alright, so this is what we need to do for all of this. Alright, so that should be all of our stuff. We just need to fill in these values. So OS is 36, CPU is 36. The first 32 is net mode. Alright, then race and chassis are 32. Mate names are 64. Reason is 256. Error type is 64 and 256. So that's supposedly everything. I need to drop the tables here for this. Alright, so I need to regenerate all this stuff again. Fail. Unable to delete. Yeah, you can just run that again. Alright. So let's make all this again. Okay, so let's go over every bit of telemetry in test and prod and push it into our local telemetry database. Go for it. It's got to spin up that hard drive. Alright, it's finding some information there. We're starting to load up all the data. Oh wow, we're actually getting quite a bit of data here. When the hell did this happen? What is all this madness? Step 24. Step 25. Alright, now we're going to go through the production telemetry, and there's not too much of that. Alright, so that's how many events we got, 74,000. So let's select our event count group by event. So let's see, we've got 55,000 player ticks, 2,500 player joins, 2,500 player kills, players leaving, games starting and ending, quite a bit of everything. Did they push the damned update this earlier today? Because that's a lot more data than I would have expected over the past 24 hours for the telemetry system. Let me see. Let's see. Publish, Steam, Pub Branch, and PlayFab. Last success 7 hours ago, which ran by ZK. Did we actually go live with this? Because that's kind of funny. I should actually look, see what they went live with. Because I was like, it's a lot of stuff. So did they actually do the switch today? Because that would be excellent. That would mean I didn't get like a bunch of horrible angry calls about shit being completely screwed with the build. So let me see. Holy shit. Yeah, they're using the Linux build for Maelstrom now. So I just pulled a whole bunch of game data from production for them. So that's that's awesome. So we've got these numbers I probably shouldn't be making public then. I thought this was all test data. Ignore everything on the screen here. This is not the exact user counts for a game that is actually live right now in the universe. It's not true. It's all fake numbers. All right, so that's awesome that that works and that we actually have real data. So next thing to do is to clone this and make the WD Maelstrom game data tool. Let me do that. Well, that's awesome. Shit, I thought that they weren't actually going to push the Linux update until like tomorrow or something. Which is why I went to sleep earlier today, because that Linux build had gone out and blown up the universe. Then it would have been my fault, which would have meant I probably would have had to have fixed it, which would suck. But if it actually works, then that's kind of insane. I should check the Discord. Man, that's great. Let me take a look at that dashboard too. So one of the big things about the Linux build that I don't see any interruption of service. The thing about the Linux build is now instead of, oh yeah, this is much better. So one day, so they had active instances, used instances. Do they actually have twice as many games on these boxes? Because I don't see these limits going as low as I would have thought they would. Let me see. Let me see the capacity allocation. Yeah, they definitely have 6 games running on those, as opposed to 3. And they're all going on the spot instances. There's only 3 active servers as opposed to well, that's huge. That's awesome. So the Linux switch for them, what it does is it halves. It looks like it has just halved their entire infrastructure cost in one fell swoop, which is awesome because they were about to bite it hard in terms of costs. Not like shut down or anything, but let's see, game data tool. One of the big problems with games is when you finally launch your game out there, everything's awesome, people like your game, and then it just costs too much to run. And you're screwed. Like, it's got to be the worst feeling in the world where basically you release a game you've been working on for years and years, people like it, and you get the monthly bill at the end of the month, and it's just too expensive, and you got to go put 2 in the head of it because you got to shut it down. All right, so this is going to be what do I call it? So what we'll be able to do here, actually, hopefully I can get this all done today. But what I would like to do is make heat maps off of this stuff and set up an email for them, so I can email them heat maps